Welcome back to the channel, Jgirlbyooty. I'm wearing the Fenty Beauty little scarf, I think it's called, that she was giving away if you purchase some products from her website. So I ordered the little snap eyeshadow palettes that she just came out with, and they were supposed to be here yesterday from UPS, but something happened that it never got out to me, so they're on their way. I knew this was gonna fall off. Last video that I did about talking about my day with piercings, oh my gosh, I was running on so much less hours of sleep. Like, I was so tired. So I'm repeating myself over and over. Sorry guys. I'm gonna be talking to you guys about my experience of me going to jail for a felon. And then I have my pair of Vans on too. So I was just like, I just want to be comfy while I talk about story time, because I get a lot of views on my story times. So they do really good. So I just put on foundation, and I'm wearing the YSL foundation, and I put on the Spotlight Glitz from Artist Couture. I also have the Artist Couture highlights in the little powders. Oh, glow powders. And a little brush. My favorite is, where is it? Cocoa Gold Diggers, my first favorite. Cocoa Bling. Tried any other color, but yeah. Anyways. And then I'm also wearing the Lippy in Alma Desnuda. It's really nude, like a nude, pretty peachy kind of color nude. I don't know how to explain it. If you guys could see it, it's really like, it's not dry. It's not like you need lip gloss on this lip at all. 2007, 2008, or yeah, around there, around that year. We're fighting. He's mad and he takes off and he goes to his grandparents' house and he leaves the boys with me. So I'm like, no, we don't play that game, because he used to like to do that a lot. And then when he would leave and party, he would always leave the boys with me, or he would take them with him, and I wouldn't be allowed to be with them, and I was by myself a lot. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go take them to him. He needs to take care of them and watch them while I go out. But I wasn't planning on going out. I was planning on going to my mom's house. So I start driving to his house to his grandparents' house to drop off the boys. Well, I drop off the boys, and around that area there's sheriff officers all the time, and I hated going there because I would get pulled over all the time. One time I got pulled over and the kids weren't in their I had forgotten their little booster seats, and the cop was like, I'm gonna make you walk. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I was like, please, I'm sorry, I forgot. You know, we were transferring vehicles, and my ex-husband ended up keeping them there, and he was like, okay, well, next time don't do that, because I will make you walk. So I was like, okay, sorry, it won't happen again. So he let me go and everything. So I hated always going around this area, especially by myself and at night. So I got pulled over. Oh, so I dropped the kids off there. I start heading back home, and all of a sudden the lights go off, and the cops pulling me over, and I'm like, well, what did I do? I'm just driving. I didn't do anything wrong. And he said I didn't stop completely at the light or something. And I was just like, that just didn't make sense. Well, this was my dad's truck that I was driving, and it smelled like liquor. My dad used to drink in there. Drink. And I don't know why it smelled like liquor, but it did smell like liquor. I could smell it too. And so the cop comes up to the door, and he's like, how are you doing tonight? I was crying. I think I was crying. I had been crying that night, or maybe not. Maybe I was just tired. I hadn't slept the other night before, and my eyes were real red. You know, they were like bloodshot red. So he thought I was drunk or I had something to drink, and I was like, no, sir, I have not had anything to drink. And he's like, are you sure? It does smell like liquor in this truck. And I was like, yes, I'm positive. And he goes, and your eyes are bloodshot red. And I said, I know, sir. I've been tired. I really didn't get much sleep. I said, but I have not drank anything at all tonight. Well, since I have PTSD, panic attacks, and anxiety and depression, and I'm very scared of cops or anybody that pulls me over, we get in a panic because I got molested at 11 years old and date raped at 15 years old. So I get really scared when officers pull me over. You know, there is a lot of officers too that are, how do I say this, that are crazy officers. Like, I'm sorry, there is, you know, this is my opinion. I've seen it. There was one cop one day that pulled over this person when I was working at my old job, and I seen them pull her out of her vehicle just so the cop could see what she was wearing. And she was wearing a dress with high heels, you know, like, come on. So there is some cops like that. I'm not saying there's all cops like that either, but I get scared. I get in a panic. Even to this day, if a cop's in back of me and I'm driving by myself and he starts to pull me over, I always get in this panic mode and nervous, and I'm like, oh Duke, because I'm by myself. If I'm with someone else, then I'm not too scared, not too worried, you know. But if I'm by myself, I do get really worried, and they probably think that I'm making it obvious and I did something, you know, and they want to take me to jail. But it's not that. It's just that I went through things that I don't trust men, you know. So anyways, he goes, I'm going to go ahead and have you step out of the truck, ma'am. And I was like, oh no. He goes, are you sure? Follow my finger. And then he was like, can you get out of your vehicle for a little bit? And I was like, sure. And so he starts to do that sobriety test on me and everything, and I'm good. I pass it. And he goes, well, I'll be right back. Let me go to my vehicle. So I get back in the truck, and he comes back and he tells me, ma'am, can you step out of the truck again? And I'm like, sure, why? And then it just seemed kind of weird to me, right? And he goes, put your hands behind your back. And I've been arrested before, right? So I knew. I was like, what the heck? Why? And he goes, you have a warrant out for your arrest. And I'm like, no, I don't. And then he's like, and then it says that you're a felon. What have you done? And I was like, I've never been in trouble ever in my life. Like, I've never done anything. I'm not a felon. I've never done anything to be a felon, you know. The only thing that I've ever done is domestic violence and fighting, and I've been in and out of jail for that, but nothing else. And he's like, well, it matches your description here. He goes like that. He's all, everything matches. So he reads me. No, he doesn't read me my rights. He ends up taking me to the back of the seat, and I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with my dad's truck? And he goes, you need to call someone. And I'm like, well, the only one I guess is my ex-husband, and we were fighting at the time. And I'm like, call my attorney, get me out of this place, because I don't know why he's taking me to jail. He said I had a warrant, and then he said I'm a felon, and the person that they're talking about describes me, and the person has my social security number. And I'm like, I'm so scared. I said, do something about it, come get me out, whatever. And my ex-husband didn't have money, he didn't work, so he couldn't go get me out, you know. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm screwed, you know. And so we're driving in the cop car, and it's harder than crap. The seat is hard, so I'm sitting back there, you know. The handcuffs are not comfortable, they hurt and everything, and they don't care. So I'm just sitting in the back seat, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do now? I'm like, and so he's like, he's looking at me through the mirror, right? And I'm looking at him at the mirror, but I'm trying not to look too much because he was like creeping me out. And he's like, so what did you do? And I'm like, I didn't do nothing. He's all, what do you mean you don't know what you did? You're a felon, you should know what you did. And I said, I do, and I've never done anything wrong in my life to be a felon, so I do know what I'm saying. And he's all, well, you match the description. And I said, well, sorry, you must be making a mistake for some other person. I said, because that's not me. And he was like, well, you should know. And just kind of being like a jerk. And he kept staring at me through the mirror, and I was getting really scared. And so I said a prayer, and I was like, oh my gosh, Jesus, help me. Like, get this creeper away from me. Like, what is he gonna do to me, you know? And so we finally drive up, and we get to the jail. No. We get to the other place where everybody's taking you in this big old van, right? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm with drunks. One was drunk. Some guy was drunk. He was giving the cop a hard time. He was like, oh my gosh, this is hurting me. Can you take these off? You know how the drunk ones get. And they're like, can you take my handcuffs off? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. And, you know, stuff like that. And then there was another one that went in the van with me. And she's all higher than high. And she's just like tripping out and freaking out. And then this other girl gets in here, and she sits by me, and she's like, that girl's high, huh? And I'm like, yeah, she's high. And she's like, why are you in here for? What are you in here for? And I was like, I told her why I had gotten arrested, and she told me why she had gotten arrested. And she, you know, she was scared, I think, too, and I was too. And so we get to the jail, and I've done this before twice already, right? But this time I'm getting in an orange suit tonight, guys. What the flip? You know, no one knows. Oh, so okay, we get in there, we go bend over, squat, they check you, whatever, and then you go back into the waiting room. And this time we weren't in that little room where there's a big old waiting room, right? We're in a big old like area where everybody's sleeping on the floor. I don't know if it was a holiday or it was around a weekend, and it was just packed. Jail was just packed. There's people sleeping on the floor and everything. So we get there, and I call the people that I thought could get me out of jail, right? So I called my mom. She's like, I don't have money to take you out. I called baby daddy to my daughter, and he said he didn't have money to get me out. And I was like, oh shucks. So I'm staying here for who knows how long, because they're mistaking me for someone else, and that person is using my identity because someone has stolen my identity a long time ago. I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm just gonna be in jail for who knows how long. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. But I'm like, it's okay, it's all good, you know. I'm gonna defend myself, be the best that I can be. I'm not gonna let no one punk me, you know. So I was like, I'll just live in prison, in jail for as long as I need to, I guess. Like, I have no choice, right? I'm in the waiting cell, and then after that, they tell you, they come get us, and they say it's shower time. So we got to take a shower with all these women. And the 2 times I've been in jail, I never had to get in a shower with all these women, and you're all naked, and get in an orange suit. So I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't want to do it, you know, but I had no choice. I needed to do it. Come on. So I ended up taking off my clothes and getting into the shower, taking a shower. You get out, you see, you know, girls looking at you or whatever. And I'm just like trying to think that I'm not around anybody. And I get dressed and everything. I put on my orange suit and those little shopos that your feet are freezing, you know. And I don't know if I was wearing socks that night. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't remember. And then I don't have no bra because you're not allowed to have a bra because it has wires. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, like my boobs aren't small no more like they used to be. They're big. And I'm like, I need something for my boobs. Well, sorry, too bad. Sucks to suck, right? So then, we go in, we get our blankets, and we're waiting to go into a room, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is actually happening? Like, what? This is actually happening. Like, no, 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 no. So I start asking some of the guards, like, why am I in here? Why did I get locked up? Like, don't even understand why I'm here. And they're like, hold on, I might have some glitter in my eye. Oh, and I don't have false eyelashes on tonight. I just did my eyelashes and curled them, and these are my natural eyelashes. And they're like, I don't know why you're in here. And a lot of people were like, I don't know why you're in here. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, fuck, I'm fucked. Like, I'm gonna be in jail for some other person. And you know how you've seen these TV shows and heard about stories where they lock up the wrong person and you're in jail for nothing, and you're locked up for someone else and you're in jail or prison for a very long time. I'm like, okay, I'm prepared. I'm staying in jail for a long time. No one can get me out. No one could bail me out. No one knows why I'm in here. I was just locked up. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna be gone for a long time. You know, my twin boys, I miss them so much. I want to be with them. I can't. So whatever. So me and my friend that was standing right by me, that I met, she wasn't my friend, she just met me, and she was like, I got your back, you got mine. I'm like, yeah, of course. And so she was crying and crying and crying, and they were so packed that we all slept and laid on the floor, the blanket. And they brought some food for us to eat, a sandwich bag, and it had an apple, regular milk, and it had a bologna sandwich. Oh my gosh. And I was hungry. I hadn't ate for like 2 days, I think, and I was starving. Because when I get depressed, sometimes I don't eat. And so I was depressed. I think me and my ex-husband were fighting for a while, so I was depressed a little bit. So I ended up eating the bologna sandwich, and when it went down, it felt like that hairnet that you put on the tub so it could catch your hair. That's what it felt like going down my throat. It was disgusting. I spit it out and I was like, fudge this, like, screw this, I am not eating this. So I just ate the banana. And I really don't like white milk or milk, like, unless I'm eating it with cereal or making chocolate milk. So I didn't eat it. I was like, whatever. So they call me and they're like, Janelle, to room blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh shit, like, this is really happening. This is really happening. Wait, what? Like, I was just like freaking out. So I get in the room, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get into the room. I walk up the stairs. I get into my room where I'm gonna stay that night and stay for a very long time. Who knows when. And so there was 2 girls that were on the floor, and there's two bunk beds, okay? These are not beds. They are harder than hard. You know, like, kind of like that table I record on. That, if I can find a picture, I will show you guys the bunks that are in there. They're hard. They give you a pillow, so I had a pillow and then the blanket, and I was so tired, you guys. Like, I was really tired. I get inside the room. The girl's like, why are you in here for? And I was like, I really don't know. I'm just in here because the police officer that pulled me over said I have a felon, which I don't. I've never done anything in my life to have a felon or be a felon, so I don't know what he's talking about. He said that someone was using my social security number. So I guess I'll be in here for a long time. And I'm like, what are you in here for? And they both told me why they were in there for. They were on the floor. They didn't care about me or what was going on with me. They were doing some pills on the floor. So I was like, that's kind of cool. You know, I don't have to worry about people being, you know, over me right now. So I get on the top bunk. They're on the floor. And then there's the toilet with that mirror that you can barely see your face out of, if you've ever been in jail. And I get on the bed and I'm so tired that I'm like, you know what, I was already thinking in my brain, in my head, this is my life. So go to bed and get some sleep because you haven't slept for a while. or for a day or a couple hours and you're really tired, so go to sleep. So I fall asleep, and then like at 4 a.m., 4:30 or 6:30 a.m. I hear, "Janelle, you are going home." And I was like, no, maybe it's not me, because no one was gonna come get me. They didn't have money to come get me out. Well, Mom came to save the rescue. Dropped my blanket off, and then I go in to change, and I'm changing into my other clothes, and I'm taking off their orange outfit, and then I go get my belongings that I had when I got there, and then I'm like wondering who came to pick me up, because I don't know yet. So my mom's waiting for me outside, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they let you come get me? And they were like, yeah. So my mom paid some money to get me out, and her and my sister did, actually. So thank you to Mom and sister. They both got me out. They both I guess pitched in to get me out. And I was like, why was I in there? Like, the cop kept saying that I had a warrant. First thing, it was I had a warrant from 2000 and some, and I'm like, I couldn't have, because they were gonna get me to, I mean, the judge was gonna give me a warrant if I didn't pay my guardian ad litem when I was going through all that custody battle with my daughter. But I did pay her. So, and I had an attorney, so that should have never happened. I should have never had a warrant at all, ever. I don't believe that either. So then we didn't even know, and I was like, did they tell you? And she was like, no. So no one knew, right? So then the next day I'm trying to find out, and I'm calling everywhere, the jail place and the courthouse, and no one knew why I was locked up. They were like, I don't see that file number, the file case. And I was like, what do you mean? I was arrested, and this is my case number. And then finally, when I went over there and talked to them, they said that I didn't pay my guardian ad litem, and that's why I had my warrant. And I was like, no, I did, and I have the receipt. So she said, well, once you find the receipt, come bring it back to us. We'll see it. We'll go over it, and your mom can get her money back. So I ended up showing the guardian ad litem receipt to them, and they said I was fine. And then my mom was able to get her money back. And I had taken a picture. You know, when they get there, you get these mug shots, and they take your fingerprint. I did that. And then I had a paper that said felon, and I guess he told me to save that damn paper to always keep with me, just in case this ever were to happen again. And I don't know what I did with it. I must have threw it or lost it or something, because, you know, I moved, and things get misplaced and get lost. But I usually try to keep everything. I wish I would have had it to show you guys, because I just like to let everybody know that what I talk about are my personal experiences that I went through, and these are my opinions. And I don't do these videos for clout. I don't do these videos because I'm lying about it so I could become a famous YouTuber. These are real, true events, and I am not lying about any of my stories that I talk about on my channel. That's why I like to show you guys, but I do not have proof, because I lost the paper somewhere. It was a long time. Me and my ex-husband got separated. We got a divorce. We moved. So I don't know where it is. And it's not, if I look on code.gov, it's not in there either, because they arrested me, because I don't even know why I was arrested that night. I didn't think I did anything wrong. He said I didn't stop enough time to go on a red light. I think I did. And then he thought I was drunk. I wasn't drunk. I was sober. I was tired. My eyes were bloodshot red, you know. And he took me out of the truck, and he said I had a warrant first, and then the second time it was I'm a felon. What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? And I'm like, nothing. And he kept wanting me to tell him something. I guess he wanted me to lie to him. I don't know. You know, so that was the third time that I finally went to jail. Like, it really, like, boom, like, what the heck, you know? And I thought I was in there for a long time. I thought my life was history after that. Them getting arrested for the wrong person and someone stealing their identity and their social security number, you know, like that's scary. So I'm glad, you know, everything worked out and I got out the next morning and it was nothing, I guess. I don't know. They couldn't even find my case number. Come on, you know, like that was really weird. And I did have my identity stolen, like I said, so I thought I was gone forever. Be careful, guys, with your identity. I got broken into December 24th, 2005. My grandma passed away. And we had just moved into this little house. And there was no electricity and we shouldn't have moved in. But we weren't going to leave, but my grandma was not feeling good. Pancreatic cancer. And she was gonna pass away. We left that night and weren't thinking about anything. We had Christmas gifts at our house too. We had everything. All my information was there. Going to my grandma's and staying with her because I just had a feeling that something was gonna happen, and we stood there with her and she ended up passing away that night. And so we get back home the next day and we find all our stuff was stolen, all my clothes, my identity, I guess my signature, but no, not my signature. My social security information was on there, my addresses and stuff, my name, except for I spell and write my J different than a lot of people, so they didn't know how to spell my name. So I know the person that broke into my house is the person that we were renting from. I have a feeling it was her daughter. She was on drugs at the time, and they are the only ones that knew, you know. That's what I think. Or it was on 5th Street. But when we got there too, I guess they were trying to go back that night, the next night or something, and my ex-husband saw him and he went running after him all crazy, and they took off and they booked it. So they weren't able to steal too much, but they did steal a lot of our Christmas gifts for our kids, which was pretty sad, you know. But it is what it is, and I didn't really care. Materialistic things are replaceable. A life is not, so it was whatever. But that's how they stole my identity. And that girl tried to have a baby, she was pregnant and she went to Espanola and used my information, and they kept calling me saying that I had a medical bill that I needed to pay, and I'm like, for what? And they're like, for some complications or a miscarriage or something like that. And I'm like, I don't go live in Espanola. What are you talking about? And I said, that's not me. Someone broke into my house. I mean, one of my house I lived in, I said, it must have stolen my identity and stuff. So can I show you the signature and see if it matches? And she said, sure. So I sent her my signature and she said that was not my signature. So they wrote that off because that was not me. So there's a lot of stuff that people have used my identity. There was one time that they were calling me that I had rented a car, and I'm like, no, I've never rented a car in my life. I wish, no, but I've never rented a car from a rental place. So people have been having a blast with my social security number. So that's why I thought I was going to be gone, history forever. And that was the last time I ever went to jail. Don't ever want to go to jail. There was one time where I almost went to jail. Well, no. I'll be talking to you guys about that story time of stalking neighbors, okay? We used to live by these crazy neighbors, and I wanted to beat her ass. And then if I would have went to jail, then that would have been fine with me because it would have been worth it. But we'll get to that story when I talk to you guys about our stalking neighbors. Be careful with your identity. Be careful with your information. Be careful with what you do, because I heard even that anybody that gets on the internet and uses your info, by that click, they think that's you behind the computer or laptop, and you're doing that, and it's your signature, and sometimes it's not. But the struggle is real with cops. Even to this day, I hate it. Sometimes at night, especially, I'm like telling my husband, can you come with me? Like, I don't want to get pulled over because I go in a panic. One day there was a cop that was trying to follow me, and I knew he was following me, and I just get nervous. Went around my house and I was going back, and he's all, why'd you do that? And I'm like, because you're following me, you know? And cops, no one understands. I wish they would go through some kind of training too and know, because it's not that we're doing anything wrong. It's just that we have panic attacks. We don't trust men because all these things have happened to us, you know? So like, it's awful. It's awful to deal with panic attacks. I hate dealing with it. I hate dealing with anxiety. I hate dealing with PTSD. I hate dealing with, you know, men and stuff. And I want to even talk about triggers that I've learned and have been aware of them now. And I know what my triggers are now. And I learned a lot from, what's that guy's name that I listen to? G-Man5368. I love that man. Sorry, but I love him. He's a good person that comes on Mental Health Mondays and talks about a lot of stuff, and he helped me with finding my triggers because he said be aware of them, and I never was really aware of them, and I used to get mad because I'd be like, well, why do I get so mad when this person's doing this or that? Well, now I know, and now I know my triggers, so I try to deal with my triggers in a different way now. So yeah, I just want to tell you, Makeup Mama, thank you so much for your love and support, and you shouting me out yesterday, I think, on your makeup tutorial. She was just like, she's a small YouTuber, smaller than my channel, and she doesn't get that much like recognition for a lot of her makeup looks she does, you know. So yeah, I just want to tell you, thank you, Makeup Mama. You guys don't follow her. You guys should follow her. She's genuine and she's really honest and talks about makeup products. And I think I mentioned her before, just Jessica too. Jessica's always shouting me out. Thank you, girl. Yeah, te amo muchísimo.